And Mark was off, and I just started laughing. She's like, stop. And so I'm like, I'm getting out of here. So then she went down. I'm like, they will put our faces on the front of this door and say, do not ever come back. So then we were leaving, and Mark was checking out, and I walked down the counter, and it was 4:45. He was turning all the lights off. We had done shut the place down.
Oh my God!
Because they weren't supposed to close till 5. So I walked down and was looking in this thing, and there was all this old turquoise jewelry, and there was a bracelet like Evie used to wear. And I said, "Look, Mother, there's some of this turquoise like Evie used to wear." They're trying to close, and she's walking down there the whole time, but I didn't hear anything. So she walks down, she's like, oh, yeah, and I turned to walk back, and I'm like, you have just sent me to walk right back through it. So the whole time she walked towards me, she was farting and didn't say a word, not watch out, not walk around the other side, just sent me walking. And I said, you sent me straight into it. And the lady on the counter was going, well, they were probably in a coma. And she never acts just like Charlotte. She just doesn't, just sits and waits for somebody.
Justin is another one that does.
And I get tickled. Anytime I fart, I just start laughing, waiting to see the first person it's going to hit. And I try not to, because I just want to wait to see the first person's face, just kind of like, what? So she can go stay with them, because I'm sure she gassed them out the whole time.
That's why they put her in the basement.
Because we were sleeping, and she goes, I have to get up and go to the bathroom sometimes in the night. I'm like, I don't care. Sometimes I do too. And she's like, okay. So it was really dark. I don't know what time it was, and I just heard, and I'm like, I said, stay under the covers.
Justin poor Mark, he's been terrorized since he got here. Justin went and farted and shit in every bathroom in the hotel the first night. Mark's like, anybody got Timmy whipped out the Glade?
Mother said, be sure and pack spray, our favorite spray, because I get it from the dollar store in Columbus and she can't get it in Virginia.
And so Justin hit every bathroom in there within 30 minutes. And Mark was like, can somebody get some spray?
Well, Maggie's first complete sentence was, spray, Grandma, spray! She mother called when she did this. She goes, oh, Maggie she goes, every time I fart, Maggie just goes, spray, Grandma, spray! And Maggie would do like this.
I know, it's bad. And Justin needs to be packed in her suitcase, all tucked away to go back to Virginia.
Well, I hope she had a good time, because if not, then I'm just never going to hear the because she won't ever say anything to Hank and Lucy. She'll call me, and she starts whispering. I'm like, Mother, you're down in the basement. They can't hear you. They're 3 flights up on the side, and I'm like, but she calls all the time, so we'll see. I didn't see her the whole time. I saw her Thursday, and then we spent the night, and then I saw her for a minute yesterday. I didn't even get to tell her goodbye. I'm like, I haven't even seen her the whole trip.
Well, she was too busy trying to keep up. Me and Mark decided she was so conditioned with the schedule. She's uncomfortable away from it.
Yeah, she got real nervous here when she realized what time it was.
Yeah, and then because James,
they were just going out, Hank and Lucy. All she had to do was call and say, hey, we're still in the country. We'll be there in a minute. Yeah.
But I don't know if she ever did or not.
When we got to the hotel and figured out he wasn't there, she called him. Because she made me and Ruth stop talking, and Mark had to peel out of Posada's parking lot with those tamales. And I was trying to call Tim to see what he wanted us to do. Even Karen said, oh, I don't know about Tim's tamales. I don't know what Tim wants to do with those. So I was trying to get Tim, and Tim finally called me back and said, let Hank take the damn tamales.
Well, then she called me at 11 o'clock last night, and she's like, what do you want us to do with these tamales? I said, throw them away, take them. I don't care. I don't care. I can't take them home in my suitcase. I don't think. I think they'll fall out, and then that'll be it.
Yeah.
If Hank has a way to take them, have him take them, and then next time I come to visit, I'll bring a cooler, and I'll bring them back with me. Or eat them. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's just not, she makes such a big production out of shit that's not that important.
Tamales up there.
Well, not
Not
Zawali
those-
tamales, and
not
I
that
don't
kind.
think we do. I don't think nobody makes them like
And
that.
I said, Mary Ruth,
Like you can get them at a Mexican restaurant, but you can't buy them like that.
like the ones, I said, Mary, you know, Daddy gets them from a lady from Zawali down here. Nope, we got to go to L&M. We get ours from L&M.
Well, let them go. God,
Right.
that's
Say what, Melissa?
So I said, you know, Daddy gets the tamales from a Zawali lady right down here. Well, no, we got to get ours from L&M. And I know where L&M is in Zawali.
She just
So I
like
used to
Letty.
go there. I said, well,
Tell her
that's,
nothing.
I want to say that's 70 miles closer, right down there,
Right.
down the street. But I didn't.
Well, Friday night at Size, when Anna and them got there with those hooligan girls,
Yeah.
and they were running all over the place, and they came in, and we were in the dining room, and I heard one of them say something, Miss Mary, and I said, Miss Mary, what is that? And she said, oh, they calling me Grandma. And I said, well, what about when the one that comes that is your real grandchild, what are they going to get to call you? And she said, they're going to call you Miss Mary? And she said, hee hee. I'm like, you can't have that child call you Grandma and then have those girls call you Miss Mary. I
It
just
won't
think
call
that's...
her Grandma. If the others are calling her Miss Mary, that's what it'll call her.
And yeah,
And
it
that's
will.
What are y'all talking about?
Mary Ruth won't let them girls call her Grandma. She makes them call her Miss Mary.
The stepchildren.
And Tim asked her what's she going to do when Anna's baby gets here. He said, is that baby going to call you Miss Mary too?
And she wouldn't answer me. She just giggled and walked off, which I don't...
Well, Mark had to call
I said,
Eva
you have to make up a
Grandma.
new name.
You know, he was the only one that had to call Eva Grandma.
Yeah.
And she took it from him, but she wouldn't take it from us.
Uh-uh.
Oh,
Because
she
she
would
didn't-
not let anybody.
No.
What's that, Melissa? Wouldn't take
Eva,
one.
Your
Eva,
mama.
Eva wanted to be called Eva. She didn't want to be called Mama or Grandma or nothing else. Well, Charlotte made Mark call her Grandma, so she took it from Mark. But she didn't want any of the rest of us calling her Grandma.
Well, that's the way Toby's mother-in-law is. She wants them kids to call her Gran instead of Grandma.
Oh, is that why they call her Gran? I didn't. Well, I got to Toby's yesterday, and Nick snatched that door open at Betsy's house and said, I see you at Mayessa. He calls me at Mayessa like a Mexican. I said, I see you too. What are you doing? Scooby-Doo. And he slammed the door. I never saw him. And they goes, Nick, come back and hug her. And he said, so then when I got back, they said, Nick, come out. I said, is he still in there 6 hours later watching Scooby-Doo? Yeah. She was keeping him because Lisa was sick with a cold. Or sitting on the couch or whatever she was doing. And they had to drag him out. I said, don't drag him out. Let him watch his show. We're fixing to go.
Toby called me this morning. He called every day to see how we doing. And he'd be talking. I said, don't do that, Nick. And he just keep on talking. I said, easy, Nick. And he'd stop back. I said, what's he doing? He's beating the hell out of that dog.
No animal has ever been safe with him. The cat hates him. That cat walks in big circles around people since Nick was born. Jake never bothered it. Or did they have it when Jake was little?
No, not when he was born.
Nick is the one that terrorized the cat.
Y'all want some coffee? Yeah.
No, we just had some. They made this coffee. I couldn't put enough sugar
Jimmy
and cream in
couldn't
it. I
take
don't know
this.
what it was.
It was
horrible.
Italian. Me and Justin loved it.
Well, we ate there Friday morning and it was fine.
Oh, really?
I mean, I thought it was really good, but today, but the second batch they brought out, I thought was better. So I don't know what that was. Maybe it was like the bottom of
I
the
didn't
pot
bring
or
any
something.
coffee, Mark, from the
It was
hotel.
all-
I forgot.
Maybe
We-
somebody
Well, we
else
left in a
made it.
whirlwind from
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Justin.
I bet one of them kids, the shadowing kids, made the first batch.
Yeah, probably.
That girl that was snatching up tickets probably just
You
poured a
know,
whole
the waitress
bag
had
in
a
there.
little girl with her. The waitress had a little girl dressed just like her. And Timmy said, since when do children work in the damn hotel restaurant?
I mean, I couldn't get away from kids to save my life that whole weekend, everywhere.
You couldn't get away from who, Tim?
Kids, children at that stupid hotel. It was like staying at Disneyland or something.
Well, you missed Killer Barbie. I wish I would have.
I'm glad because I would have just pushed that car
Tim,
into a wall and knocked her out.
she was all of 2 years old and had so much damn hair. I don't know if they put hair in her head and did it or what. But she looked just like a little doll. She was in a pink glittery outfit and she was just revving that damn gas on that car. A little Barbie car like Jessica used to have.
Yeah.
She was just revving it, sitting there and revving it. And Mark was like, hell, let's go. So the door shut right as Barbie spun around the corner. And she was hung between her a baby carriage and the wall. And she was ring, ring.
I want you to find that
Tape.
tape of them driving that car around the house.
She drove it like Jessica drove hers.
But it was so funny. Justin had a car and Jessica had a car, and the house we lived in had a sidewalk all the way around it.
Oh, yeah.
So they would run and they'd be gone a while, and then they'd come back and want to be in front of the other one.
He had a four-wheel.
They just kept doing it, and then maybe they'd turn around and come back this way. But it was like a cartoon.
Jessica drove that car just like she drives the real car. She just like, and she's gone. And then the basement went like this, so she would fly around the corner and zoom down in the basement. I'm like, there's a post down there, Jess. That was a cute car, though.
Well, Tim, are you working up there?
I work at the same real estate company that I've worked for a long time. I work 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Because I've been on disability ever since I got out of the hospital in 2010. So the apartment that I live in, my landlord is my boss. She owns the building I live in, the lady that owns the carriage trade. Yeah. So she lets me work off my rent every month. So no, because you're not allowed, to make any money or anything. So that's worked out okay.
So you just work in the office? So.
Yeah, I do the property management. We manage rentals and stuff, so I manage all of that and collect rents and answer the phones.
Well, that's
good, yeah. Well, you got your own vehicle? Got your own?
Yeah, I have my own car. Yeah. And last year, I bought it in 2006, and I still owe like a year on it, and somebody had sideswiped me on the street. And then I thought, oh, well, I don't care. It's a little dent. Well, then, 3 months later, somebody sideswiped it again and tore, the doors dented a little. I mean, I don't care. It's drivable. Yeah. So they totaled it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? There's nothing wrong with the car. You can open it. The windows go up and down. Nothing is wrong except some body damage. Yeah. So I'm like, I said, can I keep it? And he's like, so they valued it at like $6,000. They paid the car off. And then basically charged me $1,500 to buy it back. Okay. And so then I have it, and then I still got $2,000. I'm like, okay, bye. So I drive that one as long as it runs. It's the first thing I've had it since 2006, and the alternator went out last month. That's the first problem I've had with it since I bought it. So it's a good car.
What car is it?
It's a Hyundai Sonata.
Hyundai,
yes, sir. It's good. I think they're really good cars. They're not as cheap as they, usually they were the cheapest cars you could buy, but they're not really anymore, but I think they run really good.
Well, they're all pretty. We went and looked at them. Me and Melissa went and looked. She's always shopping. Can't buy nothing. I said, stop. I can't go no more. But she is revved up. Did y'all give her an upper or something?
No.
Well, you ever have any communication with Willis?
Well, when he deems it appropriate to call me, or he doesn't like to talk on the phone, he'll text me or send me an email. Well, Hank and Lucy and the girls came to visit the weekend of Hank's birthday, and so I got invited to whatever was going on then. But and Mother was supposed to come, and she wouldn't come. Every time they're all going somewhere, she likes to stay home, so she gets some break. Because she's been really she's raised those girls.
Sure she has.
She's been a full-time nanny. I mean, Hank and Lucy cannot be. But Hank works from home now, and Mother still gets up and goes upstairs, makes the girls breakfast, makes sure their homework is in their bags, walks them to the bus stop, waits for them to get on the bus, meets them at the bus stop when they get out of school, makes them do their homework, gives them a snack. I mean, she does everything but cook dinner.
Yeah.
And they bathe them. She used to always bathe them. And Hank and Lucy sit there drinking 2 bottles of wine a night while she's in there bending over that bathtub. I'm like, can you all just... But on the other hand, they pay everything for her. She doesn't pay rent. Yeah. They pay all her utilities. They pay her phone. So on that part, when she calls me and starts all this about Lucy and how she talks, I'm like, well, first of all, remember what kind of mother you were. So let's remember that. And you're now you can be the grandma, but I'm like, you have got some kind of nerve complaining about somebody. Because neither one of those girls has ever been hit. And I always have to bring up the Gloximia incident when she wants to talk about mothering. That time she beat me half to death over that plant that died. Don't you remember that?
I don't know. Tell me what.
We had been to Howard's to get, and there was a Gloximia. It was like a purple kind of velvety flower. And I had picked one out, and then she said, no, that's not the best one. This is the best one. And I said, I want this one. And she made me get the one that she had picked out because I guess she thought it looked better or whatever. Well, slowly but sure, she and I both black thumb. I've never been able to grow anything. So it eventually died. Well, it had been, a couple of weeks since it was dead, but every chance I had, I said, well, if I had only got to pick the Gloximia that I wanted, it would still be alive. So we were sitting in the living room on Tanglewood, and she was her makeup in her lap, and she's putting her makeup on, getting ready for work. And I was sitting in front of her, and I don't know what we were talking about. Daddy was gone, and she, and I said, if you had just, something came up, and I said, if you had just picked, and she said, ah! And all the makeup went flying, and I got up to scramble, and I'm not kidding you, she jumped on me and tackled me and straddled my chest, and she was beating me across the head, and I threw her off, and I started running to the back of the house, and I ran in her bedroom, and she went in the closet to get a belt, and I jumped over the bed, and Hank all of a sudden walked in from nowhere, and there he was, and she started beating him with a belt. He's like, what's going on? So while she was doing that, I ran and shot out around, but that day, so then I went to get ready for school, and it had bruises on my arm and everything. Well, I put on a tank top to wear to school. So everybody said, if anybody asks me, I'm going to tell them you beat me. So back to this, and so now it's not, if you had only picked that Gloximia, I always say, well, remember the time, the Gloximia. And then for years after that, when I would start doing something, she'd go Gloximia, and that would be all. I'd be like, okay. But it's shit like that. I look back now and know that it was me that was driving her, and it was me. But when she's so critical of them, they both work full time, and the girls are good, but I think they could participate more in the racing. Luce, they just let her do everything, but they pay. It's just hard to, when she calls me complaining about it, I'm like, Mother, if it weren't for them,
right,
where would we be?
Right.
I don't know where you would be.
Right.
So it's just like you just have to take it and let people raise their kids the way they're going to raise them.
Yeah.
Because you did the best you could, and we all turned out okay.
Right.
So.
Well, we got to talking last night about how people are raising their kids now, and it is different from what we did,
Well, I don't know what book they're reading, but
Well, it seems like nearly everybody's.
you can't have an M&M or a Sprite, so that's all I know.
They've never, ever had a Coke, ever. Their whole, yet.
They
Coca-Cola?
No,
Yeah.
never.
If they ever get to where they've got some money, they're probably kidding.
I know. Well, I can't believe Mother had been sneaking it to them.
Well, she might.
They're going to hit the vending machines is what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Because I taught him how Jake comes in and sneaks, he knows where your stash of stuff is. And when we were doing the s'mores outside, Lisa wasn't paying attention to Jake, and he was getting handfuls of marshmallows and putting them in his pocket and running off. And that sister said, Nick came up and said, may I have one of those? And she said, you sure can. And she didn't ask anybody. She got it out, and Nick opened his mouth, and she plopped it in there. She said, this is just a big old hump of goodness or something, she said. And he said, and she was giving it to Nick, and he opened his mouth, and she popped it in his mouth, and he ran off.
When I was there, when Lucy's father died last year, and I went and helped Mother take care of the girls for the week they were gone, so it was time coming home from school, and they get a snack. So there was already something there. And I think Maggie wanted something, and Ella. The thing about it is, Maggie has weight. Like she wants to eat all the time, and she sneaks food.
Yeah. She's not
but Ella eats and eats and eats and eats and doesn't gain weight. So it's hard to. They let Ella eat whatever she wants to because she can, but Maggie, it's hard to control that. So I'm like, you get one snack. So there were two things there. I think it was banana nut bread or something else, and so I'm like, which one do you want? And so Maggie picked whatever she wanted. Mother was sitting over there, and I'm like, okay, that's good. Well, it wasn't 10 minutes, but as soon as she ate it, she said, well, can I have that? And I'm like, no, you've had your snack, and that's it. So then, the next thing I know, I turned around, and she's eating it. And I said, what are you doing? She goes, Grandma said I can have it. And I said, Maggie, look at this. this is what happened when Grandma let me eat whatever I wanted to eat. So unless you want to look like this, then you need to reel it in. And I went to her and I'm like, look, if she asks me and I say no, you can't go around and say yes. It's not fair because then she's not going to ever listen to anything I say.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was ridiculous. It was like too big. So Maggie could eat. I mean, she could, I think, has the potential to really be, because she can just eat and eat and eat. And it's bad, just like it's bad stuff.
To me, though.
She's not. She goes back and forth, but she looks, now I think she's just a normal weight.
She's growing, probably.
But I'm just like, honey, if this is what is the product of Grandma, let you eat whatever you want to eat. So go right ahead and have 10 snacks, and that's what's going to happen.
Son Toby crucified me for a long time about being fat when they were little.
Oh, did y'all know that all I did was feed them my McDonald's? This is Jessica. All you did was take us to McDonald's. You force-fed us, force-fed McDonald's. No, ma'am. I think you ate every Happy Meal and asked for it that I got you. I never cooked. Yeah, okay. Where was you
They
at?
got fat. You never cooked, but they got fat.
Well, Willis and Hank were never fat.
Well,
I mean, they
it
never
was all
had.
McDonald's.
No,
That's
it's
what she
just
says.
different
That they had.
metabolism.
How the hell, living out here, did all you have was fast food? I don't think so. Well, Mama raised me. I said, well, do you think maybe it was Mama's food too? No. It was what you took us to process.
Look, she's got the Willis syndrome. I don't know what alternate universe those two grew up in.
I don't either, or where
it was
they
a
grew
different
up.
one from the one I saw.
Planet.
Willis has a completely different memory of anything.
My Lord.
He's like, Jessica, it's only the bad shit that he blew up in his mind. I said, was there anything good about your whole damn childhood, Mama and Papa?
Well, you know, even Carol said Hank been telling them girls about Southern made donuts. They drove up there and got some donuts, and then we'll let the girls.
We couldn't believe
That's
I'm like, the whole point of getting them is because they're hot.
Yeah, that was terrible.
They wouldn't let him have any of those
No,
stuff?
they went and bought them, and then they couldn't have them until the next day.
It was too late. God, that's the most
And Eva wouldn't have had us up there at midnight eating donuts. I mean, it's just
Well, no, one
completely
poor
different
little
thing.
Ella said, can we save one for Aunt Melissa, please? And Lucy said, Aunt Melissa lives here. She can get them anytime she wants to. And I just looked at her. I said, thank you, Ella, for thinking of me. Even though I didn't get the donut and your mother ate it. Thank you for thinking of me. Poor little Ella was trying to get me a donut. I did get to talk to them this morning. And then Hank, and she said, well, she said, do you want to talk to Maggie? She was going to keep on talking, and Hank said some shit. I said, just pass the phone, honey. And I hope you get to come back.
When I call them at the house, and I'll call them, just to talk, and whoever answers the phone, I talk to, and then I talk to the other one, and we'll be having a nice conversation, and Hank will be like, that's enough. Tell him bye. And I'm like, and I get him on the phone. I'm like, I was not done talking. You are not going to monitor my phone calls.
Okay. Well, that's what he did to me this
I
morning.
said, go downstairs to Grandma's and call me back.
They was saying that's enough.
Hey, he's like, that's enough. I'm
he
like,
cut that little one off talking to me this morning. She said, well, I'm going to pass you to Maggie real quick, because I heard Hank's voice in the background. I'm like, what the hell? They were still sitting at wherever the Waffle House that they didn't let us know. We would have gone, but we didn't know.
Yeah.
Hank gets somewhere, leaves, and then tells you he was there.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
That was the funniest thing, was that Blind Tiger thing. Mark let the cat out of the bag that he had gone to Blind Tiger. Wayne's sister, he went to Blind... Lucy don't know that. I bet Lucy knows it now.
That was last night here when we were talking.
He already went out. Why is he trying to go out again? And Mark goes, I don't know.
Mark don't get in.
We took Mark to the boat. Or Mark took us to the boat. And me and Justin and Mark were at the boat. And Tim got dropped off by his friends. And we didn't know where he was. And he didn't know where we were. And none of my calls came through to Tim. So we just met him back up at the hotel.
They were all in my email. And when I got up this morning, they were every one of her text messages. And it was from the 318. It was like from your phone number to me. But it was all in the email. Where are you? Mark just went $82. The picture I've shared, it's like everyone you sent me, but I'm like, I wasn't checking my email.
No, I don't know what happened. My
I
phone
think it's that
switched on.
reception or something in that boat.
Well, they said, Hank said the parade, and everybody sending pictures and texting and doing that screwed everything up. And I guess that's how everything jumped to email. I don't know. It might be my phone.
About that.
Yeah.
Oh, 22, I guess we
Gotta
gotta
go.
go. Well, look, sorry, Daddy, I'll see you on the next trip. Only time to visit live people, one. Apparently.
Did you hear what he said, Daddy? He wanted to go by the cemetery, but Mark showed him what time it was. He said, "Sorry, Daddy, I'll see you on the next trip. I've only got time to visit live people while I'm here."
Who lived that?
We can whirl by there. It's right there.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't want to lay prostrate across his grave. I just want to see it. And we don't know who's do y'all know who's keeping it up?
No, we tried to, and planted azaleas, and went out and watered them. And next time we went, there was no water. And I threw a big fit. I had a goddamn parrot in the office. A parrot sat
Oh,
down.
God.
And I said, "Is there not any? How do you water that parrot?" She said, "We got some water in the back, and we can give you a glass full or something, you know." And
She
we
thought
just
you
got-
wanted water for yourself, I guess.
No, I totally was trying to water a gravesite. But anyway, there was no azaleas left. There was nothing, and they weren't even. There was no grass.
Well, Aunt Sister said, "Don't get anything nice because we've already heard that they steal. They steal. They take the stuff."
Well, they did. There was nothing there, and we haven't been back in a long time. I got so aggravated with them.
Well, tell
We
Mark.
think Aunt Pat Prothrust, or whatever her last name
She
is
might
now.
be.
She's on husband number
Mark
5.
told about Mark. It was Mark that told about how Eva. Tell her what about Forest Park.
Anytime we went through there, she'd always say, "Be on the lookout for a tent."
When they
And
went
so
through there,
if
Eva would
we-
say, be on the lookout for a tent. She was getting the flowers
Oh my
from
God!
the
Have
tent.
mercy.
And we take them off the fresh
And then if we
coffin
found
go
a
put
tent,
them at
we had to make
everybody's.
sure nobody was there. If there was somebody there, we would say, "Well, we'll just come back. We'll just circle around and come back after they leave." But if there was nobody there, we'd go up and look at all the flowers, and she would just take what she wanted.
Well, what would you do with them?
Should take them and put them on.
Put them on everybody else's, our family's tombstone. Papa's and whoever else was.
Well, one time we went to where they dump all the things that aren't claimed, and
Yeah.
picked up all the styrofoam rings and different things and planters and brought them back here, and she started making crafts out of them.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
Well, nothing was worse than when Mother and Daddy went to New York, and Mother was like, "Do not go anywhere. Do not go to Shreveport or whatever." We left the airport and drove straight to Shreveport to get you and Melissa and come back. And y'all think y'all stayed like the whole time Mother and Daddy were in New
In
York.
the Valari.
We stayed
in
here,
the station
yeah.
wagon.
The Dodge
The
Aspen.
Oh.
Well, that was shortly after, she brought that pistol. That's when they brought that.
Well,
She brought her pistol to the airport when Mother and Daddy were going to New York, and she went through security, and her pistol was in her purse. And so they took her into security, and Mother was screaming and crying, "That's my mother! You're trying to go to New York! It's my first trip! Those are my children! What am I going to do?" Well, of course, she knew that somebody there.
Yeah.
"Oh, Miss Morrison and Jackson." I'm like, "How the hell?" "Oh, Miss Morrison, that's okay. Just leave your gun in the car next time." And Mother's still crying, and we're like, "Bye."
Well, we didn't know how she got out of it. We figured she just talked her way out of it.
That wasn't Shreveport Airport. It was Jackson.
No, it was
Airport?
Jackson when Mother and Daddy were going to New York.
Oh,
I
thought it was
remember
here.
them saying Eva Callan was hanging out the window
Yeah.
saying, "That's my mother. Don't take her to jail." Oh my God. Right
A
about
book.
That was the good old days. No cell phones or nothing, so you could just disappear off the radar.
She
and Nobody
told
would
them
ever
not to
know.
go anywhere. But Aunt Sister told them to go straight back to their house in Jackson, and they came over here and got me and Mark. She said, "Don't go anywhere. Go straight back to the house, Mother." "Okay." And they shut out for Shreveport to pick up me and Mark, and we went back and stayed a week with them.
Well, remember the time, it was right after Papa died, and she was having that nervous breakdown, and then she had that DNC, and it didn't work, and we came home one day, and she was crawling down the hallway, crying and everything.
Yeah.
And so then we had to, and then of course, it was go get my. So Melissa came, and I'm like, "Well, you had to put up with all of that," because I think she had to go back in the hospital.
You had to go
And
to
Daddy
school.
was gone.
Yeah, you had to go to school.
So how did you get there? Did you come on the
No,
bus?
I rode the bus. And that time Eva didn't come with me, but Aunt Sister was in bad shape, and she was in the bedroom, and I don't remember doing anything for her. I think she wanted me to do for y'all. Like,
Yeah.
Willis was still little, and I needed to make the meals. And
I don't know where Daddy was.
I don't either. Maybe
Who
he
But
was
I-
out of
did
town.
they were crawling down the hall?
Mother.
Oh.
Yeah.
And all her, I used to call her Deborah Dramatics when we were little, because she would just. But that was bad, because I remember getting bath towels for her. She was bleeding so bad in the bedroom, and it was like bath towels, and we didn't know what to do.
Yeah,
well, I think we took her to the hospital. Well, then she went to the hospital. They'd done the DNC, and that's what caused. And then she had to have the hysterectomy.
Right.
And so that's when Melissa came because she couldn't get out.
But I'm sure that I just remember doing stuff for the kids. I don't remember doing anything for her.
I think she just laid in bed.
I think I would go ask her if she was okay, and she'd say, yeah, but I don't remember taking her. Maybe I did. I hope I did. I just remember me and Timmy whipping up food, and Willis sitting and waiting for something to eat, and Hank wasn't ever there. He was, except you would go out and find Hank either asleep on the pool table or gone, because the pool table room, he slept on the pool table. That's what he wanted to do.
My God.
They had a nice room they added on, and Hank slept on that pool table, or else he had snuck out and was gone.
All right, let's go. I will be staying until tomorrow.
What time is your?
12:15.